and gentlemen in Florida and elsewhere, I am Elizabeth Guerin and welcome to What's Up Caribbean, your weekly Caribbean magazine bringing you interesting information and entertainment featuring notable guests from the Haitian and the Caribbean communities in South Florida. So talking about the community, our two upcoming guests today will bring you some information that you need to have. They will tell us about a program entitled HELP, which stands for Health Emergency Life Protection. It's a 2-hour workshop that teaches participants to help save a life by learning how to recognize the most common life-threatening emergencies and begin medical care until more advanced care providers arrive. The participants are taught both adult and pediatric hands-only CPR, how to use AED, early recognition of someone having a stroke, what to do to stop bleeding. I mean, many things that you need to know. The workshop is normally taught in group of at least 12 people, and you are all invited to participate. Today during our show, we'll have a short demonstration of emergency rescue techniques provided by Captain Jean-Joseph. Also with us is none other than Chief Faye Davis herself from the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. We also have another guest who is seeking to serve you as a sheriff in the upcoming Miami-Dade County elections. So stay tuned for more details.
I'm Cindy. I'm studying to become an English teacher, and I love Island TV. Why? Because we are the Caribbean. We are Island TV. We need to reveal our fundamental contributions in America. We need Island TV to reveal our different beautiful Caribbean cultures for the world to respect and understand us better. Grow your business while supporting the only Caribbean television station in Florida. Advertise with Island TV.
I'm honored tonight to have with us Chief Faye Davis from the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
And you've been sending us very good and positive messages since many years, but this is the first time that you accept to be part of our show and to be a guest. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we talk about the program, the interesting program that you have in Miami-Dade to help people, tell us a little bit about you. How did you start this beautiful career? For how long have you been doing this? Tell us stuff.
I've been on the fire department, I want to say 33 years now.
Oh my God.
It wasn't something that I grew up wanting to do. As a young kid growing up in the James E. Scott housing projects, you know, if someone would have told me I would have become a firefighter and rose through the ranks to be a division chief, I would have told them they were crazy. But you know, everything worked out, and so here I am. You know, so,
okay. Why did you choose that branch? How did it start?
Well, really, a friend of mine is what led me through the path. I was working with a gentleman. He became a firefighter, and he thought that because I played sports, that I could do it. At the time, which is 33 years ago, the fire department was looking for female firefighters.
So they didn't have any at the time, or?
They had a few. They had a few.
But they needed more.
They needed more.
Why exactly?
Because I believe diversity is important.
Okay.
Diversity in language, diversity in gender, the population covers everything. Men, women, different ethnic groups. So diversity is important. So it's important to have women in what is a predominantly male job.
Did you feel at certain time during your career that they were not taking you seriously, your colleagues, just because you're a woman? And did you have this experience?
You know what? I can honestly say I never had that
Wow.
experience.
Fantastic.
Maybe it's my demeanor. As Captain Joseph will tell you, I have a certain demeanor about myself, the way I carry myself. So I never really had that problem. I had good individuals who trained me. And so, hey, once you went through what is Battalion 5, which is a very busy area, and you get that knowledge, you're pretty much respected throughout the fire department because they know that's a busy area and you've seen a lot. So, no, I didn't really have that problem.
Really?
Yeah,
So you never
yeah.
had like the fact that you're a chief, you never had a colleague or someone, a firefighter, feeling uncomfortable because you were a woman telling him what to do?
No.
They all obey.
Yes.
So we have smart guys in the
Yes,
fire
yes.
department. That's great.
Well, the fire department is a paramilitary organization.
So, yeah.
You know, everyone sort of knows the officer is in charge, male, female, they're in charge. So no, other females may have had that issue, but I never had that issue. So
That's great to know.
I've had a great career. Yeah.
So do you have a lot of females right now in the department?
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue has quite a few females. I can't give you the number off the top of my head, but I would say compared to a New York City, we have more females. Compared to a Chicago, we have more females. Compared to a Boston, and I'm talking about big fire departments, bigger than Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, I would say we have more females than most of those departments.
How
Yes.
can you explain that?
You have to feel wanted. The fire service is a profession that you have to feel wanted.
Exactly.
And because we have so many females, it's easier for a female to see someone like myself or some other female and say, okay,
If she
she's
can do
there,
it, maybe
if she
I
can
can do it
I
too.
can do it. So the more females you have, the more welcoming it is. So I think that's why we have so many.
Do you have a lot of Haitian female?
A lot? I wouldn't say a lot. We have a few.
Okay.
I couldn't put a number on it, but I know we do have some. We have some in the pipeline waiting to, get trained and come on. So yes, and I work a lot with North Miami Senior High, which is my alma mater, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
And
great.
so we have a lot of Haitian students there, and we're getting a lot of those kids involved in the fire service, and they're coming on. So, the more individuals we get on from the Haitian community, the more kids get a chance to see them, they'll want to join.
Is there a specific weight, or you have to be this tall, 6 or less
no.
to be a
No.
fighter?
There's no height limit, there's no weight limit. I believe there may be an age. I think you have to at least be a minimum of 18. I don't think there's a top age, but as long as you can do what they ask you to do, regardless of your age or how tall you are, you'll be able to do the job.
What about their education?
You can become a firefighter with a GED. So a high school diploma.
Okay.
So yes, it's a rewarding job, and it doesn't take a lot. Now you will end up attending college because every firefighter is at a minimum an EMT. At a minimum. So you do have to go to college. Miami-Dade Medical Center campus is where most people go to get their EMT certification. So, and most people are certified when they come on, so they go to college to get that certification as well. But the minimum is high school diploma.
Did it happen that you had to fire someone from the department because
At my level, I don't fire anyone. At my level, that's the chief's job.
the chief?
That's the chief's job. I don't fire anyone, and knock on wood, I've never really had to discipline anyone under my charge. If someone does something that's inappropriate, there's ways to handle it.
Okay, my next question is weird, but I want to ask it. So, what is your biggest quality?
My biggest thing would be that having concern for other people, compassion for other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you deal with any crisis? Like, do you have a special training to deal with crisis?
Well, it depends. Are you talking about a fire? Are you talking about a medical call? We're
Or
trained to
family.
deal with those things, but as you see, we from the Champagne Tower collapse to someone with a boat explosion the other day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once you get the training, everything just sort of kicks in, and your job is to help mitigate whatever that situation is. We have a large department, so if there's something that I personally can't do, I know I can get on the radio and call for help. So we have people who have different skills, from diving to technical rescue to hazardous materials.
Negotiations.
So if it's something that I personally can't do, I know that I can get on the
would call
radio
someone.
and request help.
Okay, from what I understand, it can be a very dangerous job, not only because of the fire, because they call you for many things. So you could be in the middle of a crisis, and you can have people that are very aggressive, so your life could be in danger. And do you wear a gun?
We do not wear guns, no.
So
No.
why not?
I want people to feel comfortable that I'm there to help them. And I think when you bring a gun into a
Automatically,
situation,
they're
it brings
scared.
another dynamic to whatever incident or call that you're on. So, we use our people skills. If someone's combative, we've all been on combative calls with patients. You use your people skill, to talk someone down.
Or you call the police?
If we
Did that
need-
happen
if
one
we-
time?
Oh yeah, sure. If we need to, we call the police if we need to.
Okay.
But that doesn't really happen that often either. We're able to, for the most part, deal with the situation without bringing in anyone else. So.
From my little survey, I realized that you are really loved by Haitians in the community, in your department as well. So, which is a very good thing for you. It's a very good sign. I think you're very cool and firm at the same time. Am I right?
I would say you're right.
Perfect. So I thank you for always thinking about us and bringing any good, positive message to the Haitian community. So let's talk now about the new program that you have, and tell me more about it.
The HELP program is a program where we have a few firefighters, officers going out in the community to teach hands-on CPR, not just adult, but infant, to also go over the signs and symptoms of stroke, to teach people how to use the AED. We see AEDs all over the place, but most people have no idea how to use them. And we also go over how to put on tourniquets, because as you know, we have a lot of situations where shootings occur, and being able to place a tourniquet on someone could save their life. So it's a program where they're going to go out into the community. They teach a group of people. So it's not something just one-on-one, it's getting a group together and having them go through all those different aspects and things to learn in order to help. If someone's having a heart attack, if someone is having a stroke, what are those signs and symptoms? It's very important. Time is very important when someone is having a stroke. The quicker someone realizes you're having a problem and the quicker they call 911 and we get there and get you to the hospital, it's better for you as relates to your survival, whether or not you have a deficit. So those are things that are important, and as you know, I always think the Haitian community gets the low end of the fruit, and I always want to make sure you guys get every opportunity that everyone else is getting. So,
well, thank you for that once again. But you said they go out to teach people.
Yes.
So I have a feeling they're just going out to say, hey, do you want to do it? Do you want to learn it?
No, they can.
Where did they happen? Where do they happen?
Anyone watching this program now can call the fire department.
So they will not come to your house. They will invite you to a specific place where this training will happen.
If you have a church group, teachers, any group that you can put together.
A minimum of?
A minimum of 12.
Okay.
A minimum of 12. But if you don't have 12, if you have 10, that's fine.
Okay.
Any group that you can put together, you call the fire department, you say you have a group, you'd like for the HELP program to come out and teach the hands-on CPR, they'll set it up and they'll go out there just like we did with the smoke detectors. Same thing. Same principle.
For how long will you have this program?
That I'm not sure how long we're going to have the program.
So the best thing is to let people know right now that they should call right now and go learn how to save people's life.
They should. CPR is very important to know. And again, I know a lot of people think of mouth to mouth, but we don't do that anymore. You can just do hands
Since
on.
COVID? Or before that?
It's kind of stopped before COVID. But hands-on CPR is now the way to go, and so anyone can do it. You don't have to worry about giving mouth to mouth. As long as you can use your hands, you're good to go.
Perfect. So I understand that you came with a guest today.
I did.
Can you tell us who he is?
I came with Captain Joseph. He's Gene Joseph. He's part of the HELP program, and he's part of the group that's going out in the community to teach people CPR and signs and symptoms of stroke and what have you.
Okay, so from the name, I know he's Haitian.
Yes.
Did you have good response with this program? I mean, you just started it, right?
We just started, and so, you know, we're trying to get the word out in the community that it's available to you. You know, again, if you have a church group, you want us to come out, we're there. If you have a social group, you want us to come out, we're there. So we're trying to get the word out that the program is available. The more people that know CPR, the better we all are, because they may be able to save your life. You know, so the more people we have out there that know that skill, the better the community is as a whole.
I really appreciate the fact that you accepted my interview today. I really admire you, so stay strong. And as we all say, thank you for your service and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We hope to welcome you soon again.
Oh, I will be back. We'll be hiring next year.
Yay! So we're going to have a special show about hiring firefighters in the Haitian community.
I will be back next year, for sure.
A special hello to all our Haitians in the program.
Yes,
I've met a few of them and they're fantastic. I mean, we're Haitians, so that's normal.
They are.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And see you soon.
Thank you.
Voilà. Mesdames et messieurs, dans quelques minutes, nous pourrons recevoir capitaine Jean-Joseph qui pourra nous des démonstrations de programme ça que Chief Davis fait expliquer nous. So stay tuned, we'll be back. Mesdames et messieurs, comme annoncé, nous avons avec nous capitaine Jean-Joseph de Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Et ils sont haïtiens. Ça fait un plaisir de voir les haïtiens qui dans Fire Rescue. Dans Dade, dernièrement, nous avons gagné deux haïtiens que nous avons rencontrés. Alors nous disons bonsoir, bienvenue dans le show nous.
Merci en pile. Bien content de là aujourd'hui.
Très content là tout. Moi, tu as parlé fort depuis que nous commençons à parler doucement.
Parce que... Merci en pile, merci pour moi. Merci en pile.
Alors, expliquez-moi, dans Fire Rescue, grade capitaine, dans quelle position vous êtes? C'est-à-dire que il y a un plus gros chef là, et puis après ça, c'est qui est-ce? C'est capitaine?
Oui, il y a un capitaine. Dans le travail, nous avons un pile, nous avons un lieutenant, nous avons un capitaine, nous avons un chief.
Pour faire entrer dans le pompier, c'est capitaine Koye?
Non, premier, j'ai commencé avec un firefighter. C'est firefighter.
Firefighter?
Yeah, monté.
Ok.
Monté, me fait lieutenant. Quand je fais capitaine. Quand je m'appelle étudier pour chief.
Wow! Ça, c'est une belle bagaille, compliment.
Merci en pile.
Donc, vous avez combien d'années qu'on a fait ça?
16 années.
16 années?
Oui.
So, où est-ce que terrible, hein?
Oui, moi, un pile bagaille. Mais, je suis en pile pour m'aider les gens. Vraiment aider les gens. Parce que les gens ont des problèmes. Ils ont besoin d'aide, ils n'ont pas comme ça, ils peuvent faire. Je suis là pour aider eux. Pour avoir une chance. Parce que nous avons un pile bagaille. C'est ça femme là.
Est-ce que le monde entré comme pompier, est-ce que vous gagnez PTSD tant que l'autre monde là nous des bagages terribles?
Moun ça nous ka fait ça, but moi-même l'aime quitter job là, me quitter. Parce que me dit comme ça, si me dans la caille moi, a bon problème.
Okay.
Yeah, so me quitter tout bas ça yo la caille
dans la job.
Yeah, on pile training, yeah. Parce que gars temps là on bagaille qui drôle. La être dans tête tout. Il prend un petit moment pour disposer par ça, but nous gagnons un gros support dans le département, peer support, les nous bagaille qui by terrible moment, nous là pour aider nous.
Vous comprenez? Ok. Donc finalement, vous êtes très confortable dans le job là, ou pas stressé?
Non, pas stressé. C'est là ça pour agir tant qu'on qui compte ça faire. On pas temps pour faire pas stressé, but deep down le West House, il y a le temps m'ka peur. But me connais mon dépend sur moi pour aider yo les besoin d'aide.
Wow. Qui plus gros qualité yon monde qui nan pompier pour le gagner?
So, comment?
What is the biggest quality you should have as a firefighter?
The biggest quality to have as a firefighter, I think.
Not you, like in general.
In general, the biggest quality to have.
Qui ça pour moun gagne comme qualité? Yes.
Courage, on pile courage.
Courage?
Yeah, on pile courage pour faire job parce que c'est pas facile.
Faut pas pêcher le tout.
Yeah, ou non, pas pêcher non. Pas pêcher du tout. But on pile courage parce que bah ça lui doit. Parce que nous mettre gear sur nous, les show, et nous entrer pour aider les gens qui les corps disposés pour connaître ça pour faire.
OK.
Il faut aller 3h du matin, 4h du matin, c'est pour mettre ça dehors pour aider les gens pour prendre chance pour vivre.
Alors moi tout le temps que gagner camion pompier tout côté passé toujours gagne. Est-ce que moun yo c'est tellement gain du feu ou bien yo relé nous pour l'autre bagaille que du feu?
Yo relé pour toute bagaille.
But why you not the police?
Yo relé nous parce que yo connaît les on gain du feu pour mettre dehors, les connaît yo gain crise cardiaque après les nous parce que m'ka aider yo, les yo fait tension d'après les nous parce que nous connaît nous aider yo.
Donc pompier capable faire CPR.
Pompier fait toute bagaille.
Qui fait toute bagaille alors que officier de police n'a pas forcément de training ça.
Yeah, vraiment. So nous fait non pompier, bah seulement pompier va faire ou faire un médical tout.
OK.
So j'ai pour les 911 ou connaît un monde expérience à venir pour aider dans sous car bouler ou et puis on faire crise cardiaque ou si vous fait tension montée on faire stroke.
OK. Est-ce que vous capable de nous un exemple une histoire côté vécu côté ouais dans pompier qui était très dur pour t'es frappé
un petit monde nous avons un petit monde maman te gagne des petits monde haïtien yo te tout dans Southwest la ben petit monde li get des petits monde la ben yon un petit monde qui gagne 10 ans de ben et l'autre petit monde là il gagne 6 ans petit monde là sort devant porte là dans les entrées dans l'eau canal et le petit là
il était noyé
il est noyé.
Et puis là, ça, c'est même pour obliger.
Moi, police, je suis un petit bébé.
Oh!
Ça fait mal. Ça me fait mal en pile. Parce que j'ai un petit qui 3 ans. Petit ça semble même j'ai un petit moi.
Oh, ça dure en pile.
Il était bon mon problème. Dès qu'il y a un petit moment, je me bats qu'à dormir. Mais je ne quitte tout bas et je ne manger.
Because that's the job. Alors, Jodia, on pourra apprendre nous 2-3 bails qui sont capables de sauver mon la vie. On connaît que Chief là t'a parlé nous de bel programme ça que nous gagnons pour nous faire mon yo venir apprendre qui gens pour yo non situation qui gens pour yo gérer urgence pour sauver au monde.
Yeah.
So qui sont prêts à apprendre nous aujourd'hui?
So no program ça really help Mère Daniel Lavin Kava dit comme ça, il voulait mettre un programme pour la communauté pour aider les urgences rivées.
OK.
So, premier bagage m'a parlé, les gens a fait stroke. Ça pour faire. Est-ce qu'on compte ça pour faire les gens a fait stroke? Il y a des fois gens qui paient, pas compte ça yo a fait. But est-ce là pour m'expliquer yo qui signe pour garder les gens a fait stroke. Nous gagne l'aime faire classe là, m'ba tout monde yo en bagage pour mettre dans frigidaire.
C'est eux même qui
c'est même qui fait classe là.
OK.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah. Merci. So gagne mettre dans frigidaire, so nous gagne signe là, figi. Ça c'est un acronyme qui relève faire vite. OK, so pour faire vite parce que là ou besoin pour relais. So là où figure, OK, les figures là déformées. OK, c'est les fois c'est pour suspect le monde a fait stroke. OK, ça c'est un bagage.
La figure monde la
déformée. La pour faible dans figure. La faiblesse.
Ou bien monde n'a pas parler tout.
Il va pas parler. Là la langue. So c'est dans figure avant équilibre. OK, là on a parlé de balance, là nous parlé de langage, moun yo pas parler bien, il a parlé tout comme moun sou. Et puis vision, là nous parlé de vision là où moun a double. Vision c'est double, immobilité. Là nous parlé de immobilité, pas en bois avec période pas lever. OK? Et téléphone c'est là ça pour les 911.
Qui ça que on monde capable faire en attendant que 911 l'arrivée s'il a fait un stroke? Est-ce que toujours tande dit bali on aspirine?
Non.
Et pour capable
non, les gens a fait stroke pas balan rien. C'est relais 911.
So there's nothing we can do to help that person.
No for stroke, non. Les gens a fait stroke relais 911 ou raconte tout ça signe ça ou relais.
Qui ça que classe que nous bail actuellement, qui ça que libre à apprendre moun yo? Et est-ce que c'est en anglais seulement le fait ou bien on peut faire en créole?
Non, il faut en créole, anglais avec ponyol. Nous faisons tout.
Donc selon groupe moun nan nous réunis faut 12 moun?
Non, we can faire 20 moun, 40 moun, but plus moun qui gagne, plus moun qui là, j'ai besoin l'autre moun pour aider pour faire classe là. Parce que nous faisons un pile bagarre là-dedans.
Bah nous quelques démonstrations.
OK. So même j'aime t'a dit là où moun disposé ou pas contre ça qu'a faire ou soukel. Ou dit monsieur madame, il pas répondre. Quand on va checker s'il a respiré. Ou pas respirer. On va checker pouce, il pas gain pouce. On va dire si un moun avant, on va dire comme ça already 911. Parce que pour contour, vous prenez le téléphone, vous mettez sous speaker, vous appelez les 911. C'est là ça commencer, vous mettez dans cœur, vous connaissez, c'est là où on fait compression. Là on fait compression, on chercher un numéro 100 pour 120 bat pour chaque seconde. Staying alive. Non, c'est vraiment staying alive. Ça c'est un chant pour des American Heart Association dit comme ça ou chanter pour quitter.
So it's official. It's not about, c'est pas vous-même qui inventez.
Non, là on a parlé des bébés, OK, avec des doigts, OK.
Wow.
So, nous avons petit là, nous avons tête là, OK. On mettre dans bois des doigts, on va peser.
OK.
Quoi que j'aime qui met tête là?
Avec deux doigts.
Avec des doigts.
OK.
Jusqu'à on va faire ça jusqu'à être arrivé, on va faire ça.
Okay.
Jusqu'à être arrivé. OK?
Wow.
Nous avons un tourniquet là. On peut expliquer qui gens qui mettent le tourniquet là. Ce tourniquet là, c'est qu'on mettre dans bois.
It could be anything, right? Because c'est pas tout le monde qui gagne.
Non, parce que si vous avez ma moto, si vous avez ça, les fois tout le monde pas gagne comme ça. Mais l'embar classe là, tout le monde m'a baillé ça.
OK.
Si en fashion on a besoin. Mais si vous avez gagne, OK, un tourniquet, ça vous pouvez faire un sac zoé, OK, ou marrer dans point tout, ou prendre bois qui est, ou marrer, ou mettre là-dedans, ou marrer.
Un sac zoé.
Un sac zoé.
Ça veut dire couverture zoé,
on prend bois qui est, vous mettez là-dedans, là vous finissez marrer, vous mettez là-dedans, quand il a viré bois, parce que
vous mettez là-dedans qui ça?
Dans sac là, dans sac là, là où tu marrer sous point là. Ou marrer.
I see where you going.
Yeah, ou marrer sous point là.
Et vous virez?
Vous virez avec bois.
Pour serrer?
Pour serrer, ça fait serrer pour 6.5 ans.
Eh bien, moi, j'ai raconté démonstration ça yo.
Merci en public,
Qui
merci en
dernier
public.
message pour la communauté parce que au cap venir dans classe là, it's a free class,
It's
right?
a free class, yeah. It's
So,
free class. M'a parlé dans tout
Parler
côté.
avec mon yo dire dernier bagay que ou conseiller yo ou suggérer yo.
M'a suggéré si vous voulez pour une classe là, ou bien relais Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, nous avons moun no stand-by pour si vous voulez apprendre classe là, dans créole, dans anglais, dans espagnol, n'importe langue ou besoin, n'a aider.
Et qui l'âge mon pour le gagner?
Nous gagnons pour tout l'âge.
Tout l'âge. À partir de quel âge?
Dans monde qui gagne 10 ans.
10 ans?
10 ans nous
So,
faisons.
petit monde qui vient pour classe ça.
On a monde qui fait avec Timonio, nous faisons avec grand monde. Pour plus jeune.
OK. Mon cher, merci beaucoup.
Merci un peu, Louis.
Nous
Bien
très fiers de vous.
bien content.
Et puis à très bientôt.
Ouais, ça.
OK? Voilà.
Voilà.
Eh bien, mesdames et messieurs, nous pensons nous apprenons pile la soirée là. Nous retournons tout de suite. Comme annoncé, mesdames et messieurs, nous gagnons avec nous Kounia un candidat pour position shérif dans Miami-Dade, dans le lycée Jeff Giordano. C'est avec plaisir que nous allons faire connaissance avec lui. Welcome to What's Up Caribbean. How are you, Jeff?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thanks for having me on your show.
Of course. So I have to share the story with you. We have a common friend who told me that I have to interview this guy. He's interesting. So we're going to find out if he's right or not. He's usually right.
Well, that's what I want to hear.
So I know you were a sergeant for a long time in the police, in Miami-Dade Police.
That's correct. City of Miami.
City of Miami. Tell me about your career. Tell me about you.
Okay, well, in 1985, I joined the police academy, City of Miami, and I was an undercover narcotic officer for several years, affiant of over 100 search warrants and responsible, me and my partner, for over 1,000 undercover drug arrests.
Wow.
That we did.
Very
So,
dangerous field. Did you choose it?
Well, I was on there for probably about a year in patrol, and then I decided to play football because we had what was called the Pig Bowl, where we played football against the county at that time, and the head coach was also a sergeant in the street narcotics unit. So he asked me to come on board, and I did. And it was a fascinating journey, undercover drug operations. It was called the Miami Street Narcotics Unit with the Jump Out Boys, and I was one of the undercover buyers with long hair and earrings and infiltrating the drug trade in
Wow.
street level crimes and stuff. So that was a highlight, one of the highlights of my career, and probably one of the most dangerous ones as well.
Do you think there is a progress since 1985 with the drug problem compared to right now?
I think it's going to be worse with the situation that we see at the border. And coming into Dade County, we have about 1,000, I would say about 1,050 people a day coming into Florida. So within 10 years, we're probably going to have 10 million people in Florida. And now with the borders being wide open, they're bringing drugs across the border. You know, they no longer have to use outlets like the Miami River. They're just bringing it right through the border.
So is it confirmed that they are bringing drugs? Is it all of them, part of them? What are the reports about it?
Well, like everything you see, there's good people and there's bad people.
Of course.
So you do have, you know, a lot of good people that are crossing the border and they want to become citizens just like me and you. But unfortunately, when you have such a large amount of people, you also have the bad people.
Of
And you
course.
have these cartels coming from Mexico, Colombia, and they're bringing in fentanyl, they're bringing in other illicit drugs and narcotics to the United States. And unfortunately, we can't stop them all.
What is the solution to a problem like that?
Well, as sheriff, I plan to put together one of the largest canine task force, and to mitigate the drug crisis of fentanyl and other narcotics that are coming in, cocaine, crystal meth. I want these drug dogs to check on teams, UPS offices, FedEx offices. We can have a memo of understanding with the federal government and also check postal services where we could intervene these drugs before they're picked up in packages.
How is the situation right now in Dade? Is it bad with the drug problem?
Well,
Not people that are using it, selling it.
it is.
It is?
And one of the reasons why is we don't have any more street crimes units. You have police departments
Why?
measuring their effectiveness because unfortunately it leads to shootings, it leads to police shootings, and now
okay.
you have, you know, departments measuring their effectiveness by not getting involved in shootings. So what you have now is police officers that are afraid to go out there and be proactive because you have body cams on, you have GPS systems on, and that's one of the things that I want to look at is maybe reevaluate the body cam program and maybe put some trust back into police departments. I'm not saying get rid of it, but we have to evaluate the effectiveness of that program, and we also have to see, these officers, get them back proactively, and let's get these drug units back together, and let's go after these bad guys.
Let's continue with you. So after being in this field as a sergeant for how many years?
Yes. Well, I retired as a sergeant from the police.
Okay.
In the narcotics unit. I was an officer, and then I also became a neighborhood resource officer. I was a pioneer of community policing.
Okay.
Which happened to be a fascinating journey because at the time we literally were we were the commanders of the area that we were given. And I was given the Brickell area. It's not the Brickell that you see today.
It was bad
it was
before?
Full of gangs.
Really?
Full of gangs, and there was a lot of extortion on businesses there. A matter of fact, I don't know if you heard of Pericone's on Brickell, the original location. I met him there when there were gangs all around that area, and it was a single home with a lady that sold it. And I thought he was crazy for buying in that area. It was infested with gangs, infested with drugs, infested with homeless people, and look at it today.
It's really shocking to see how many buildings were built since 1985.
Yes, there is.
It looks like New York right
Yes.
now.
So my responsibility was being in charge of over 2,000 hours to implement services from the police department. And we did that through data-driven policing.
Okay.
What I mean by that is we've seen when the armed robberies were happening a lot. There was a Sheridan Hotel on 495 Brickell back then. There was the Hampton Inn on Brickell and 25 Road. Every week, constant armed robberies. And because Brickell, because what it is, a lot of rich people, it's a target-rich area where bad people, will target that area because they know they can get a nice watch. They know they can get, somebody carrying money. So we identified the problem. We realized that the outlets were coming on 95. We went into these gangs and we offered them programs. They have a ropes course that the gang detail had, and it was to build confidence with the police. So the first day, you would have these gang members with police officers, and you would spend the whole day together. And first, you would start out, and you would be bumping heads with each other. But by the end of the day, it was built on trust. High elements, you would have to trust the other individual. And at the end of the day, you became friends with this person, and they would look up to you. And you would even go out there, and you would paint over graffiti with them. So they would realize that it's not just them, you're right alongside with them. So they got to take a liking to police, and a lot of them got out of that.
So I know you wrote a book. Did you talk about all that in your book?
No, I wrote a book actually for what I'm doing now. It's private investigations, but I'm also a mitigation specialist on capital murder cases. And I mitigated a capital murder case in Bonita Springs that was a famous holistic doctor called Teresa Sievers, and she was a murder for hire by her husband.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what the book is about.
So the title of the book?
The Mitigation of Mark Sievers.
So when will you have time to be a sheriff doing all that? So you have your company, you are also a writer, and everything that you told us, how will you manage to be a sheriff?
Well,
if you succeed?
I'm 100% dedicated to be the sheriff of Miami-Dade County. And one of my commitments, as I mentioned, Leo Biscaglia, he was the first one to bring love on college campuses and teach classes. When I retired from the police department in 2014, I still remained in the reserve officer program. And I think you see what's happening throughout the United States, the hatred with the police and the hatred with the community. I think first we need to go back to basics in policing. And what I mean by basics is when I was a rookie, I would go to roll call. And when I went into the roll call room, we would say a pledge allegiance to the flag. To start the day out. So what would that do? That would reiterate me when I went out on the street that my job is to protect.
Civil duty.
Exactly, civil duty.
What about the screening process? Because I know I'm very close to a lot of police officers, and I've been in the program myself, so I know how it is. I know the stress that comes with that job. But at the same time, we have some really bad people too.
Yes.
And is that possible to have a better screening process to realize if they have mental issues? How can we make sure that the person who becomes a police officer is really a healthy person and a good person? How do you know something like that?
Well, it's getting harder and harder because, you know, to commit crimes being a police officer, because now you have GPS systems on your cars, the radio, they could tune in at any time and they can hear you from the dispatch place. And it's all about having a department that has accountability on their officers. And with that, you have to have supervisors. You have to have zone integrity. You just can't have an officer wandering around the whole town. You have to know where he's at, knowing when he checks in. If he leaves that location, is he still on a signal? Where is he going? You know, you have to realize what he's doing. And as far as mental health, the problem sometimes is when an individual gets hired, he has all his marbles and everything there. You know, now imagine that he sees a child killed, he sees a car accident with somebody.
PTSD.
Through the years, he gets a little,
which is normal.
You know. So one of my strategies to combat that is, if you get in a police shooting, you have to go see a psychiatrist before you come back to work.
But it's not what is happening right now? That's not the system right now?
Yes, but the problem is I could see a little child murdered and shot in an area over drugs. I could see a car accident with somebody in it. But now I could see a homicide, you know, a dead body that's in there for a week. But now when I get off work, I have to go home and I have to go to the movies with my wife. And she's like, why are you angry? Why are you upset? Police officers have the #1 divorce rate out of
Really?
everyone, out of any profession.
Or
But-
two police officers together with work,
well,
like journalists.
that
they
could
say,
be a recipe for disaster. So
Really?
my idea is you have to have a debriefing with a psychiatrist if you have any critical incident. So if you're on a scene of a homicide,
So just after. That's what you're
afterwards,
telling
you know,
us.
before you can come back to work, you have to be cleared by a psychiatrist and express yourself, express your views. I was a hostage negotiator as well for 10 years, and part of that is working underneath the SWAT team. And every critical incident that you get called out, you have a debriefing. And that's so important. Even on a regular homicide scene, that you debrief, you see what you could do better, you see what could have happened, and you also have that officer, you want to know the outcome of the investigation, not just show up. So he feels part of it. He feels a bigger part of the community.
Many people, they are in denial. They don't know that they have a problem because they've been traumatized and maybe they are playing tough. And
We're
they won't
big
admit-
guys. We're tough people, you know, unless we're forced to get help. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, that happens a lot in marriages, you know, with police. Unless you're forced to get help or the, you know, rubber meets the end of the road there, you're not going to get the help you need. But if
Okay.
you're forced, you might open up a little bit. Or if you have that, you know, monthly thing of, okay, these are critical incidents he was involved in, go see a psychiatrist, but talk about the incident, not just, you're cleared, you can go back to work, you know.
So if you become sheriff, Dade sheriff, you will implement that policy.
Well, you said if, it's when I become Miami-Dade County Sheriff, I will implement that policy. We will have debriefings on every critical incident, and we will have psychiatrists clearing these officers before they come back to work.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Let's face it, if you develop an anger for yourself on these scenes and you don't get debriefed, how can you ever serve the community if you're not being a good family man at home?
Absolutely. Great, great.
So
Where
that-
were you when I had this debate about the police officers? I didn't know.
I go to these town halls and I walk out, they call me Sheriff Amori.
Wow.
Now you know why.
So tell me, you have so many opponents for this position. It's like everybody wants to be sheriff. And why do you think that you will succeed?
Well, you have to look at, there's 16 candidates now, I think.
17, 16 or
Well, there's
17?
17. I think one, unfortunately, what we're talking about, the
Yeah.
mental illness portion, he dropped out.
Okay.
He shot himself or attempted to shoot himself.
Oh, okay. Yes, he
And
was
so
one of the
now it's
candidates.
down
You're
to
absolutely
16,
right. So
but
16 right
I
now.
would absolutely say that is not enough. I would like to see 100, 150
Really?
candidates. You have
Why?
so many good officers out there with so many good ideas.
So they're good too.
That I would
Your
say the
opponents?
candidates are good. You know, we have different roadmaps on how we want to achieve success. You know, their roadmaps might be different than mine. It just so happens that I'm kind of using Waze, the sophisticated one, to get there, and others are probably using Wives that might slow them down a little bit. But I'm fulfilled my commitment. Why do I think I'm going to come? Because I think I have some great innovative ideas, and I want to bring trust back to police officers, and I want to bring
That's a big
trust
mission.
back to the community in the police.
I think that the mayor endorsed one of the candidates.
Yes.
And don't you think that it won't help your cause to be elected as a sheriff?
Now, I don't know if you noticed, Donald Trump also, you know, endorsed one of the Republican candidates type of thing.
And it's not you.
And it wasn't me, no. I don't even think he knows who she is, by the way. It was like a favor for
Of course.
somebody. So that's how some of these endorsements go. And the county mayor, you know, God bless her. I do think that she was good for the police department, because I haven't heard anything negative. I mean, she's gone as far as this individual that shot himself, making him the director of everything, making more money now. Imagine that. You try to shoot yourself, and you're putting somebody back around guns, making probably more money than he was making as a director.
So I would like your final message to the Haitian community and anybody from the Caribbean watching you right now.
Absolutely. As I mentioned to Elizabeth, I have a private investigation company and I have a security company. And I have a lot of Haitian people working for me, and they are probably some of the most professional individuals that I've ever dealt with. They're always on time. Their uniforms are impeccable, just like I want each and every deputy to have their uniform impeccable. I mean, they're pretty much like having military personnel show up on a job site. The Haitian people, they want police officers, but they want good police officers. And it's important that every officer learn the cultures, not just of the Haitian community, but, you know, maybe go to a family, eat some of their food, go to one of their services, and not just the Haitian community, but the Jewish community, you know, Venezuelan community. We have to learn the cultures, not just by taking a human diversity class and watching a video. We have to meet people, and we have to know what their needs are. Not only do we have to be a data-driven police department, but we also have to empower the community through community policing.
Mr. Jeff Giordano, thank you for your visit, and
Thank
we
you.
wish you good luck.
Appreciate
Good luck.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. My name is Elizabeth Guerin, and I will see you next week, same time, for another What's Up Caribbean. Good night.